Hi guys, and welcome to another video on Sonal's Life. So obviously last week I had a look at all the New Japan G1 entrants, and this week I'm going to have a look at the first 2 days of the G1 tournament, which happened on Saturday and Sunday. So when I first spoke about all the participants, I explained how excited I was with all the amazing names, the amazing matches, but I didn't think that it was going to be so amazing just in the first 2 days alone. Like, within those 10 matches for the blocks, we literally see match of the year candidates, and that's scary to think because there is still so long to go. So I'm going to have a look at both of the days, sort of looking at each of the matches, what my highlights were. So we'll start with the Saturday, which was obviously block 1. Now the whole show started off with Yota Tsuji versus Yu Uemura. So normally when we have G1 shows, the first matches are normally a mix of tag matches, sort of previewing the next set of matches. We have junior heavyweights and the people involved. Obviously, because of what's happening right now, we've not been able to have that. But for me, this is great because it's going to be a really good platform for the young lions. So especially in this match, Tsuji and Uemura brung it. So Tsuji came out, he got no beard anymore. But honestly, this is going to be a chance for them to really improve as wrestlers, and hopefully it'll help the crowd, especially new fans, really connect to them. And so I think generally it was a really nice way to start an amazing night of wrestling. It got everyone really excited. So the first match that we had was Will Ospreay versus Yujiro Takahashi. You could see that the crowd were really excited to see Will Ospreay back. And you know what? It was a good match. Expected, like, Will Ospreay won, and we thought, but I want to really commend Yujiro because people sometimes say a lot of shit about him, but Yujiro is such a good wrestler, and this match really showed how good he is. He was doing fast, dynamic moves, and he was playing the part of the heel. And I sometimes think that Yujiro gets hidden behind, and he has this Bullet Club persona, and I think if Yujiro is given this spotlight and given time to have big, long matches like he had with Okada, it's really going to improve him as a wrestler. And yeah, hopefully Yujiro gets some points, because if this was the start we're seeing of him, he's going to do some amazing matches the rest of the tournament. Then we had Jeff Cobb versus My Holy Emperor Taichi. So I love Jeff Cobb, hashtag Gachimuchi, but I knew who I wanted as a firm favourite, and it was obviously going to be Taichi. However, I think Jeff Cobb did amazing. Like, obviously it was hard for him because from the start Taichi was targeting that leg that's been injured, and obviously Taichi is Taichi, so he was doing some sneaky moves. But I think it was a perfect heel versus babyface match, and in the end, Taichi won. He ripped his pants off. It was a great night for me. And I know it was a loss for Jeff Cobb, but I think he's only gonna get better. Like, it's the opening match. You know what? He could have used jet lag as an excuse. A lot of people have done that before. Marty Scurll in the Best of Super Junior, but he didn't. And I really think this is just the start. And I'm really excited to see what both Jeff Cobb and Taichi are going to do in the future. Then we had one of my favourite matches of the weekend, and it was Minoru Suzuki versus Tomohiro Ishii. A match that I've always been looking forward to and I think is amazing. I feel like I always repeat myself, but when these two get in the ring, it's surprising how fast-paced they are. Like, they'll fly across the ring like junior heavyweights, but then they'll focus on their brawling style. I mean, from Suzuki, we even saw some new transitions. So there was a new transition into a sleeper hold, and even in the end moments when he did his roll-up into the Gotch-style pile driver, Ishii, we saw he was doing like high kicks, and it's crazy for me how two men like this are so similar but can put on such a dynamic match each time, changing up paces, styles, and light and dark shades. It was honestly amazing. Then we had the fifth match, which was the return of my boy Jay White, and obviously Shingo Takagi, who has been a standout this year from New Japan. As expected, it was a hard-hitting match. Shingo knew that Gedo was going to play a huge part on the side, and he tried to battle against that. But Jay's just too smart, Shingo, you should know that. He was playing possum, which we've seen a lot in the G1s before. He was banging him across the barricades, and obviously Gedo got involved, which in the end did help him hit that Blade Runner for the 1-2-3. I think people say, oh, Jay won because of Gedo. No, he won because he's smart and he's talented, and that's not just because I am a massive Jay White fan. However, I want to give props to Shingo because it was an amazing match. It lasted almost 20 minutes, but they do, like, even last year, G1, they bring out the best in each other. They're very different people, very different ideologies, but it works. And then we got to the main event, which was a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom, which was Kota Ibushi versus Okada. The funny thing is, some people said they expected more from it, but I think it had everything you needed. It was both guys, they're nutters, we can say that, like high flying, strikes, speed. It was somewhat what we expected. It was like a condensed version of their Wrestle Kingdom match. And for Ibushi, it really had as much importance because he couldn't beat Okada then. This was his chance to shine. And he did with hitting that Kamigoye in the end. However, I feel like I'm saying this for all the matches. The winners have done amazing, but their opponents are just as good. Like, I love Okada. I think there's just something about him. I especially love the fact that nowadays he's trying to go for a bit more of a submission style. So yeah, like, that was just the first night. Then we had the Sunday. Once again, we started with a Young Lion match. So we had Yota Tsuji beating Gabriel Kidd. I think Gabriel Kidd's got so much more. Like, he's got so much more to show. He is literally a baby in the Young Lion system, even though he's a pro. So we'll see how that goes. And then we had the block matches. So we had Juice Robinson versus Yoshihashi. Honestly, the crowd went crazy for Juice, and I'm not actually surprised because it's good to see him back. And you know what? He won, and it was well deserved. But like, Yoshihashi was a standout in that match. Since he's got the belt, honestly, he's been going from strength to strength. And I think that, yes, it's the first loss, but honestly, it's going to be like amazing. He's going to do so well. And then we had some other matches. So we had an amazing match between Hiroki Goto and Kenta, which surprisingly Kenta won clean. Like, there was no interference from Bullet Club. I don't think there was many ref bumps either. Like, congratulations, Kenta. Like, it hurt my heart because of Handsome Hiroki, but you know what? Congrats. And my mum was also really happy because Kenta had a haircut, and she didn't like the quarantine haircut. And we also had Evil versus Zack Sabre Jr., a heel versus heel match, where we ended up having Zack Sabre Jr. as the babyface, because obviously Evil came out with Dick Togo, was targeting parts of Zack, distracting the ref. But in the end, Zack got the roll-up, did the European clutch to get the win. That's what I like about these tournaments. You get different matches which have different dynamics. You had the crowds cheering for Zack Sabre Jr. However, my top two matches of the night, I always do that, top two matches. So the first one was Sonata versus Toru Yano. Can you have a G1 without a Toru Yano classic? And this was it. There was tape, there was a Young Lion, there was a count out, there was turnbuckles. I don't want to spoil too much for you, but definitely go and watch that. And I think my favourite of the entire night, and you know what's crazy? People have called it Match of the Year contenders, and that was the main event between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tetsuya Naito. It went nearly 30 minutes, but honestly, it was amazing. These two guys have battled each other so many times, they know each other so well, but it never stops it from getting exciting. They're very similar in terms of their wrestling styles. Their personalities are completely different, but they combine like high flying. We saw even some submission and targeting body parts. But the main thing was the storytelling throughout. You had Tanahashi, who, he's been on a bit of a slump. He needed to prove himself. Tetsuya Naito, he's just won his titles back. He needs to keep that momentum to not only get points, but to stop people being able to challenge for his title. In the end, Naito got the win with, I think it was 2 Destinos, but I think both men just showed they are in their prime. It was probably the match of the entire weekend, and that's scary for me to think, like I've said this. What matches do we have to wait for if this is what we had this weekend? So yeah, my whole match of the weekend was obviously Tanahashi versus Naito. I was really excited to see Jay White back, and there was nice to see some new ring gear from people. So I loved Sonata's new gear, his new hair. Juice had new ring gear. Like, it was the start of the G1, and it kicked off in an amazing fashion. So let me know in the comments below what your favourite matches are. What did you think of the opening nights of the G1, and what matches are you still looking forward to? So like always, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on social media at wrestling_chat. Make sure to subscribe. You won't regret it. I will see you guys next week. Bye!